Namaste. Welcome to this very short practice of chair yoga to strengthen the legs. Today I've got a pair of socks with me, which I'm going to use later because I've got a smooth floor. But if you have a carpeted floor, then you won't need these for the rest of our practice. Excuse me, I'm sucking a lozenge because I've got a very sore throat today. So I'm going to start sitting on the chair, as are you, with your feet a comfortable distance apart, probably just a touch. You don't want them super narrow, so at least hip width apart. And you want to have your feet directly under your knees. So that doesn't mean the heels under the knees. That means the center of the foot under the knees. So probably just a little bit closer towards you than we normally sit, where we're looking for more of a right angle. And here we're going to firm the belly and do some little sit stands, sit and hover. So making sure you've got enough of your body on the seat itself, reaching your hands forward, firming your belly, pressing into your feet, just hover your bottom off the chair and then release back down. We're going to do this a couple of times, or a few times. We're going to go for 5. So this is 2. Reaching the tailbone away from your hands so that you really lengthen that long part of the body above the hips. Number 4. Number 5. And just take a rest if you need it, particularly to maybe wriggle your toes, roll your shoulders. If you prefer to warm up before doing this practice, you can absolutely do that too. So now we're going to stand all the way up from this hover position, but we're going to take the hover first. So firm in the belly, reaching the hands away to hover, and then pressing into the feet to really actively engage those leg muscles. And at the top of the movement, widen your arms to lift your chest. And then we're going to reach forward again, and at the same time, bend the knees, lengthen your tailbone back behind you, just as we do for downward dogs, lifting the belly and gently plopping yourself back onto the seat. It takes a little bit of practice to get that level of control, but it comes with practice, so do persevere. So firm in the belly, reaching forward, taking the weight into the feet, feeling your way to standing with the muscles of the legs, opening the arms wide, maybe even lifting your chest, and then the opposite way, bending the knees, lengthen the tailbone behind you, reach the hands forward, and gently come down to sitting. We'll do 3 more of these as well. So hovering first, pressing into the legs to stand tall, arms wide, and then reaching forward, lengthening through the tailbone to gently sit down. And if you're worried about your chair moving, just pop it against a wall so that there's no chance of it moving away from you as you sit down. And then you can sit with confidence. You can really use the muscles of the legs. Try to avoid turning to look as you sit, if you can. Got 2 more. Hover, stand, open wide, and then lengthen forward, bending in the knees, and gently place the bottom down. This time we'll stay standing. Hover, stand, open wide, and from the standing position, we're going to reach the arms down to the sides. Fantastic stuff. If you need to, you can give your legs a little shake out. And we'll come to the back of the seat. And facing the back of your chair, just allowing the feet to be that comfortable distance apart. We're going to use the chair for as much support as needed. So if you can do this hands-free, then do it hands-free. That's not a problem at all. So light fingertip touch on the chair, a lift in the center of the body, and then floating up onto your tiptoes and floating your heels down to the floor. We're going to float up and down. We're going to do 3 more, floating up and down. Feel those muscles in the back of the legs, floating up, particularly calves, and down. 1 more, floating up, keeping that lift, and down. And then just softly bending the knees and stretching the legs again, or bending it and lengthening. Very good. If you need a moment, you can wriggle your ankles. You may prefer to do that sitting down, that's absolutely fine. Or give your legs a little shake out. For those of you who can manage this with one hand or even no hands on the chair, then standing tall. If you can't, just join in with both hands. Floating your heels off the floor and then reaching one arm up or out to the side. So you take yourself a little bit off that center of balance. You have to work a bit harder, and then coming back to the center. Same thing on the other side, floating up, keeping that lift, opening one arm up or out, and back to the center. If possible, do it with both arms, floating up, just finding that center of balance, opening the arms wide, bringing the hands back. It's okay to take some practice first with that one, and we'll do one more. So if you're going side to side, you'll have done 2 to each side. If you're doing it with the hands on the chair or with both arms, you've done 4. And at the bottom of this movement, again, bending the knees, shaking out the legs a little bit, and hopefully that's really energized the backs of the legs as well as the ankles and the feet. So if you need to sit down to put your socks on, please do that. If you are trying to develop balance and just retaining the skill of putting your socks on, it's a really good idea to try and do it without holding on to something if you can. So it's good to maintain that strength in the legs and that sense of balance and independence as well that we get from being able to do things without support. However, a little support allows us to maintain that independence for longer as well. So don't be afraid to take it if you need it. Our final practice is to make little circles on the floor with our toes. So we're going to stand slightly to the side of the chair. Have your right hand on the chair, your left side of the body free of the chair, and just pointing your left foot forward, swinging your left leg all the way around behind you if you can, and then all the way forward again. Some people might need to do this up on the tiptoe of the right foot, just to get enough space to feel that you can move that leg. If you're able to, standing on your right leg, having that lift through the body. Some people prefer to take the other arm out to the side, just for a little bit of balance and support. And we'll do one more of these. So we've done 5 with this leg. When you come back to center, just stand for a moment. I wanted to add something else because it's occurred to me. So we're going to stand tall and point the left foot forward and just lift and lower 3 times. Try to turn your left heel in slightly so you get a little rotation, the knee of the left leg pointing out to the side somewhat. It's okay if it points forward, it's not a problem, but if you're able to turn out, that's good. Standing really tall, left arm out to the side, lifting and lowering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring your foot back to the center. Lower your arm if you like to. We'll do the same thing out at the side. And you can do these sitting down as well. So you sit on your right side. I'll demonstrate on the other side. Standing tall to lift and lower at the side of the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Back to the center. If you need to at any point, you can march both legs. It's quite hard work for the standing leg. And then pointing your toes backwards, that lift in the center, so you're not leaning forwards to put your foot behind you. Lifting and lowering. 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Standing with both feet together, giving a little bit of a march. So as I said, I'll demonstrate this one sitting down on the other side. For those of you who prefer not to stand on one leg, for whom weight bearing is quite hard, we're going to sit with the left hip on the chair, the left thigh on the chair, and hold on to the outside of your chair seat with your left hand. So you're on the right side of the chair, you've got the whole of the seat to the side of your left hip. And then here, pointing your toe forward on your right foot, let me just try and get this on the screen. Lovely, good, lovely job. Just making a circle out to the side and back again. You can do this standing as we did on the other side. This is 2, still tall, still reaching the other arm out to the side. 3. You might not get the leg behind you, but that's okay. 4. And 5. Take a moment sitting in the center. The right buttock doesn't have any support here, so do take a moment to shift yourself to center if you prefer. And we'll do the lifting and lowering of the leg. So pointing your foot out in front of you, lifting 5 times, nice and firm in the belly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To center, pointing the leg out to the side. This one's a little bit harder sitting down, but if you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just coming back to center. For those of you who are standing, you can take the leg behind you as well. And with the toes pointed backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Fantastic stuff. So hopefully you can feel all the way around your hips, in your thighs and in your calves, that you've really activated the muscles that support the legs and promote strength in our legs. And this weight-bearing exercise is really good to combat things like osteoporosis as well. And developing that muscular strength supports our joints, particularly hips and knees, but also ankles, which is very important for our long-term mobility. So I look forward to seeing you for another short again soon. Wish you lots and lots of love. Namaste.